What's up, guys? You know, it is Career Ninja May here, getting a nice little last minute vid out. We've got a nice little banger here, right? And of course, like and sub, all that good stuff. Let's talk about that, get it out of the way. I know it's always annoying to get that stuff out of the way, but you know what? It helps the channel. Why not? If you enjoy what I'm doing, it's nice to know that people are actually listening to us. Now, let's talk about this now. Castaneda versus Santos, man. The fight of the bizarre nicknames, right? Castaneda, Sexy Mexi. Jeez Louise, man. Who gave that to him? And then Willie Cat. That's a very interesting. I mean, if you heard like Sexy Mexi versus Willie Cat, I mean, I don't even know that's crazy. That's just like some interesting stuff you see in the backyard brawl or something. But anyway, yeah, so Castaneda, he's a minus 180 favorite, so implied odds are 64.29, right? And Santos is the, about a plus 155 underdog with an implied odds of 39.22. So you have to ask yourself, are you more confident do you think that Castaneda wins this, over 64.29% of the time, over 65% of the time, right? Or do you think Santos is a good underdog? He wins this fight, over 39.22% of the time, right? Does he win it over 40% of the time? I think the odds, to be quite frank, to get that out there, just to let you know how I'm leaning on this fight, I do feel like they're kind of they seem pretty accurate as far as, it's not too steep of a line. I feel like it's somewhat justifiable, but I think it's going to be a close fight, though. It's going to be a banger. And, talking about them, going back and rewatching tape, Castaneda is in his prime and he shows good volume, right? I really like to see that. He'll have a reach and wrestling skill advantage, I do believe. I'm not saying he's necessarily going to go out there and ragdoll him, but, overall, I mean, going back and watching tape, it seems like he should have the advantage there. That being said, Santos is durable and shows decent takedown defense in fights, so that's really nice. Santos will throw some spinning kicks, of course, as you always see, and even a spinning back fist once in a while, but he does a good job of keeping his hands up and using movement to avoid shots. He's not just going to stand there and blindly brawl, swing and bang and just hope, like a Rock'em Sock'em Robots kind of fight. He's shown good movement. I do like that. This will be a fun back and forth, as I said, but I do lean Castaneda by decision, as you can kind of tell here. They both have finishing abilities, obviously, on the feet and the ground. If you look at the records and you go watch their fights, they're in the most previous fights. If you can go on YouTube, you can find some of their stuff as well. Of course, UFC Fight Pass always great. But, you going and watching that and trying to get my thoughts together on this, I do think, watching back, though, I kind of try to imagine how they would the match up, of course, as usual. When you go rewatch tape, right, you might think, okay, now these are their skills are looking good, but what are they doing? What are they doing well? What is their opponent doing well? How are they reacting to it? And I do think that they could actually neutralize one another because they, on the ground they have the submission abilities, but on the feet as well, I think they kind of match up. It's kind of weird, match up well, and I don't mean that. What I mean by that is that, like as I said, they'll neutralize one another. I feel like, it's kind of interesting. They go back and forth because I've heard like there's some people talking about, oh, Castaneda can get hit and Santos can bang, but I'm like, you know what? I feel like they size up pretty well, and the people they've lost to, it's been good competition as well. Well, they've always looked good. They don't look like terrible in their fights. In other words, even when they lose, they always put up a fight and they're fighting for your money. If you want to put it that way, if you want to think in that way as a betting, but of course they're not. They're just fighting, for their money. Anyway, enough of this rambling. Let's talk about. I have a lot of notes and stuff here, so I'm trying to get my thoughts out. But I do think Santos. Let's talk about that. Talking about their previous fights, I did want to touch on that. Santos made his UFC debut against Julio Arce, and I, as well as basically most other hardcore fans, called that one correctly, as Arce is a difficult guy to debut against. It's just kind of like, man, it's tough. And it's funny because I had to go rewatch tape again on him. I was like rewatching the same videos as before when I was researching that Santos versus Arce fight. It's kind of remembering everything, jogging my memory. I'm interested in seeing how Santos will perform actually here in this second fight in the UFC. He seems consistent, and the debut jitters didn't really affect him too badly, so that's always good. Maybe he'll do better this time around. But Castaneda is a tough guy to go against. Unless Santos hurts Castaneda with something like wild, or maybe snatches up a sub, I see this fight going similarly to his UFC debut. I'm talking about Santos's debut. So it's listed as a catch weight as well. I'm wondering about that. I want to see them on the scales, how they match up. I don't think there'll be like a huge size event. I think they'll match up pretty, fairly evenly in a way. I mean, obviously, like I said, Castaneda will have the reach advantage. Um, and I just feel like, I don't know, I feel like with this one, I think actually over 1.5 will hit. I know I talked about that. If you watch my recent, my other video, I talked about Penn versus Richie. I mean, that's not a hot take. I mean, look, they're both durable girls. They're both not known for really like, KOing their opponents. So I think that's over 1.5. And this one too is interesting because they both have finishes. You see a lot, but when you have guys that have finishing ability and that match up well like this, I feel like there's gonna be a back and forth. Not saying it couldn't end. I mean, I'd be worried about maybe Castaneda getting hit, but look, he took shots from Woodson as well, and look how competitive that was. Woodson, I mean, well, he stayed in there. Woodson was obviously outlanding him insanely. I mean, he broke his record on that. Something that excess of 100 strikes landed, and yeah, it's really great. Showing from Woodson. Woodson had that nice little body kicks and stuff, and but yeah, like I said, that was really tough. And I do think Castaneda has maybe improved since then, but yeah, I mean it's just tough. I mean Woodson, and yeah, it's gonna be interesting. I do feel like I said, Castaneda, I guess I'm winning a decision here. I mean, I'm not. I think he could at least try to mix in the grappling a little bit, clinch work and just kind of mix things up. Use that nice jab. Those straight punches are really good. I think those get through. Sorry, I just want to kind of touch on this a little bit more about how I actually feel they're going to match up. I do feel like Santos, though, he'll use his movement really well, but he likes to kind of inch forward, get that pressure. I do feel like they both show really good movement, though. They'll mix it up. You know what I mean? They show similar striking ability in a way, but like I said, I feel like I do have to lean Castaneda in this. I mean, it's just tough. I mean, they're not really giving good. Easy matchups for Willie Cat over here. Willie Cat making his debut against Arce, now he's going against Castaneda. I think it's tough. I think he is going to get another loss here. But like I said, he could land something. Maybe he lands a nice little spinning back kick to the body and knock out. He's done that before, right? I don't think they're going to sub one another. I think that's like his best. I think his most likely path to victory is maybe catching with something, Castaneda with something, Because Castaneda can get hit, but I mean, we can say the same about, Willie Cat. Santos can get hit. Well, I think the straight punches and the movement, I think it'll kind of, you'll see it kind of favor Castaneda as the fight goes on. I mean, like I said, maybe I could be wrong on this, but I do feel like, it's a nice little parlay piece. I think over 1.5, you want to sprinkle that as well. So anyway, no more rambling, guys. I gave you my thoughts on this. Just let me know if you agree, disagree, what you got on this. Yeah, comment down below, man.